Hey, what's up? I'm back. So, I did a rant about Tether, and then I went to Water and Salt in West Sacramento. Fantastic store where I get all my water from. I've been getting them here for years. Juan is a scientist when it comes to water and nutrition, and he's dope. They got a salt room there. Love that place. Juan also does excellent crypto research, and we talk and we have great, fantastic conversations. It's my dude. That's my brother right there. And so anyway, I was in there and I was getting water, and I was thinking, like I was patting myself on the back, just slayed the Tether FUD, and I said, but an argument that people would make is that, hey Teddy, Bitcoin isn't backed by anything. This is what they do when they say, Bitcoin isn't backed by anything. That's how they sound when they say that. That's how I hear it anyway. It's a popular, I don't mean to belittle you, man. I'm just having fun, man. But I know that it's a very popular thing to say, right? And it's usually like people who don't necessarily value the achievements of the digital world, right? So first we're going to talk about kind of that mindset, right? Where it's like, well, it's digital, so it's not real, right? If I can't touch it, then it's not real. That negates like Facebook or YouTube where you're watching this right now. You know what I mean? Is that not real? None of that matters. Like, would you want to own Facebook? The Yellow Pages is real, but would you rather own the Yellow Pages or Google? Which one would you rather own? Would you rather own Encyclopedia Britannica and the manufacturing company for those books, the publishing company for those books, or would you rather own Google? Would you rather own one hotel in your city, or would you rather own Airbnb? Like, do you want to? Do you like getting snail mail versus getting email? You know what I'm saying? This is what we have to really talk about. You belittle and disrespect and devalue the digital layer that operates on top of the real world layer. You think these two things are separate from each other when one augments the other. And they both augment each other. Because the flow of communication and that happening in a rapid way, right, allows for people to receive it and act upon it, in a much faster way. Before it took long. During quarantine, so back in the day, movies would get made and then they get shipped to movie houses, and then we'd watch them at the movies, and then a year later they come out on DVD, on VHS, right? And that's how you'd wait that long to get them. But nowadays, you could go to the movie theater to watch the movie, or you could go buy it on your Fire Stick at home and watch it right now. Which one was better? Me waiting a year to see a movie that's in the theaters right now, or me paying what I would pay to go to the theater? You pay $20 for the movie to watch it right now, and you watch it in your house. You know what I mean? On the manufacturer side, on the production side of things, they would rather have you watch it at home. They make hella more money for you watching it at home. Hella more. Most of the money that gets made in ticket sales is at the box office, is at the movie theater, right? And in every scenario I just laid out, Airbnb, Google, email, people are making a lot more money, a lot quicker from the digital interface being present than the physical one, okay? So why would that not translate to money? Why would money all of a sudden be whack? Email, it's got use cases, it's valuable. Digital money though, that's dumb. Bro, I said the same thing. When I heard digital money, I was talking to my boy. He told me about it. He told me about Bitcoin. I said, what is it? He said, it's digital money. I said, that's dumb. I was so stupid. I was the dumbest I ever been in my entire life in that one statement. Dumb as hell. The reason why I was dumb was because I did absolutely no research, and I'm operated purely off assumption without any intelligence, and began to make a statement that I lived off of from that point forward until I heard about Bitcoin again being $1,000 like 10 years later. Or whatever, 7 years later. So let me tell you what's backing Bitcoin. All right, we're gonna get into that. Okay, look, man, the dude who made Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, could be a guy, a woman, a group of people, a machine. I don't know. Nobody knows. Whoever made it, though, he, she, they made it. It made it, and it operates in this kind of way. So, you know, when you mine gold, you got to dig into the earth with heavy machinery to get the gold out. And you don't even get the gold out. You get the gold along with a whole bunch of other stuff. Then you go and sift through it to just try to get as much of the gold there. And then you take the gold and you heat it up in order to purify it to where all the stuff that you don't want burns off, melts away. And then you have gold, right? So there's a very arduous process to pulling gold out of the ground. And because it's expensive to do, you know, that adds to the base level of its pricing. You know what I mean? So Satoshi Nakamoto created something very similar because this was supposed to be digital, online gold. Bitcoin is, right? Now, what he did was he set up a network that would create these very complex transactions. And it would require computers with very high-powered GPUs, graphics processing units, to run at very high performance rates over very long periods of time in order to compute the necessary computations to solve the complex equations that the network was putting out. And when it accomplished doing that, it created a unique footprint for Bitcoin, for the Bitcoin that it created, and it also caused the network to give it a reward of a certain amount of Bitcoin for the amount of equations that it processed. Okay. Now when you look, when you open up your calculator and you type in an equation and you hit the equal sign and it gives you an answer, before you hit the equal sign, after you hit the equal sign and before it gives you the answer, there's an imperceivable gap of time in which your cell phone is doing the computation to give you a number. Now, the Bitcoin network is producing equations so complex that it takes a computer much more powerful than your cell phone to require a gap of time that was the same in your calculator, but is elongated to a week or 2 weeks worth of time to produce the answers to the equation, you know, to solve the algorithm that it kicked out. Okay, and so that's how complex the equation is for solving a Bitcoin. It's going to take a high-powered computer a week to 2 weeks to solve, and it's running at such a rapid rate that it's costing the owner of that computer $12,000 in electricity to produce the answer to that equation. Okay, that's how powerful that is, right? So you can't just like print a Bitcoin, copy a Bitcoin. It doesn't work like that. You have to produce a Bitcoin through math. At any given second, the Bitcoin network is producing or solving something like 160 trillion equations per second. 160 trillion equations per second. That's how many equations it's solving. Okay, it's a very high-powered network. Now, in order to run this network in a secure way, it requires hundreds of thousands, almost a million computers around the world running at this to to compute it. So to make a Bitcoin, it's gonna cost you at least $12,000 in electricity, and whatever your time was worth in 2 weeks or a week, in order to solve it. So when a miner comes to the market to sell their Bitcoin, they put a selling price, okay? They don't just sell it for whatever they sell it for. They put a sales price on it. And when the price is low, they don't sell their Bitcoin. They hold it. And they pay the electricity out of pocket. And they hold it and they wait for the price to come up because they don't want to sell it at a loss. All right? Bruh. How much money does it take to print a US dollar? It costs more money to print the US dollar than the US dollar is even worth at the time when you go spend it. You know what I mean? The ink and the paper cost more than the dollar. The time it's spent, the electricity is spent to manufacture the dollar is worth more than the dollar. You know what I mean? Nothing's backing the dollar. At least there's electricity and time in the thousands of dollars, okay, that backs the creation of a Bitcoin. And that's just one Bitcoin. You know what I mean? You're talking about a network full of, the roughly 12 million Bitcoin out there. So all those computers all together also create a digital network that happens to be the most secure database on the planet. And it is using the computational power of all those computers all over the world and how powerful they are to secure that network, to make it so that you can't hack the Bitcoin network. It's extremely difficult. And if you even pulled it off, it would only last for maybe 10 minutes at the most. And then, the community, the price might see a dip, probably would see a dip, but then the community would go and fork that blockchain, create a new blockchain, fixing the patch, and then it was all for naught. You know what I'm saying? So, when people try to say that Bitcoin is not backed by anything because I can't touch it, it's a mental cognitive dissonance that's occurring where people just aren't able to compute the value of a digital platform, a digital interface. They just can't compute the value of it, right? But at the very least, if you just want to put it, the intrinsic value, the practical value, through the roof. But in terms of hard costs, each miner costs 12 grand and up to 2 weeks of time in order to produce a Bitcoin. And they're selling it at a profit right now, 45K, So the $12,000 hard cost is only going to pay the bill of the electricity company. We're not talking about the usage of the equipment and the time that it took for the miner to wait for that to be solved, to produce a Bitcoin. And that, my friend, is worth much more than the $12,000, that was sent to the electricity company to pay it. So, that's how much a Bitcoin's worth. And look, what I just stated is like the most simplest way to put it. It's so much more technical than that. It's way, way, way more technical than that. It's the engineering regarding Bitcoin's code is unbelievable. And people have had ample time to examine it and emulate it and still haven't come up with something that comes close to the code and the monetary policy working in conjunction with each other. So it is what it is. But yeah, just wanted to put that out there for all of you guys. Like, well, Bitcoin's not worth anything. It's not backed by anything. There's nothing to back it. I don't mean to mock you. I was in your shoes one day, okay? And that's exactly how I sounded when I said that, okay? But, it's just when we say things like that, we've done no research. When people say Doge is going to be better than Bitcoin, and they've done no research. You know what I mean? They haven't looked into it. They don't know much about it, and they're just making statements. And we have so much misinformation out there. In my early days of crypto, I lost so much money listening to misinformation. I genuinely don't want that to be happening right now with a bunch of new people coming into the market. I want everybody to have a pleasant time investing in crypto. I want you to earn money in crypto. I want you to have fruitful investments that are good for you and your family, bro. I really, really, truly want that. I think if we all were able to do that, things would be much better for all of us, especially in a time like this. So yeah, it's my 2 cents, man. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm dumb. And maybe you're wrong, and maybe you're dumb. We all have to have enough humility to realize that those are possibilities. You know what I'm saying? Because pride cometh before a fall. All right? Love you. I really do, man. Holla at me. You got any questions, comments, concerns? You got arguments? You want to call me names? Hit that comment section. All right? Peace.